If you've not got an electric car yet, a valid question to an EV owner like myself might be, how long does it take to charge? And unfortunately, that ain't a simple answer. And in today's video, I hope to teach not only people who are thinking of buying an EV, but also some electric vehicle owners that might not know why their electric vehicle takes sometimes longer and sometimes shorter to charge. Now, the reason it's not a simple answer is down to about 5 variables that can change the way an electric vehicle charges. And we're going to try and explain what those variables are and how they affect the charge speed of an electric car so much. But if you haven't already clicked subscribe to me, make sure you do that now and click that notification bell. How fast your electric car charges is mainly, the first step is down to how fast your electric car can charge. Every electric car is different. There's AC charging only cars and there's DC charging cars. The speeds between AC and DC are very different, but also the ranges from DC's lowest charging speed to the fastest charging DC speed are again massively different. In fact, the slowest charging car is about 15 times slower than the fastest charging car. Now, these two figures I'm going to give you right now won't make any sense till near the end of the video, but the slowest charging is about 22 kilowatts and the fastest charging at the moment, and this is not, that may be faster in the future, this video will age very quickly, but the fastest right now is 350 kW. Kilowatts. Now, the next thing is also to do with the car, and that is how big is your battery, because a small battery in an EV is about 22 kilowatt hours and a large battery in an EV could be 100 kilowatt hours or even more. Now, there is other factors to do with the size of the battery that will change the battery speed, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later on the video, but as you can see, if you've got a 22 kilowatt hour car and a 100 kilowatt hour car, even if they were charging at the same speed on the same charger and all the variables were the same, they're going to take longer to fill up. So it's a much harder question already. Now, how fast that 100 kilowatt car or 22 kilowatt car charges depends again on this next factor. So we've got already how fast your car charges. However, how fast the charger is will also limit how fast your car can charge, because not all rapid chargers are made equally. Now, we're not ignoring AC for a while because AC fast charging doesn't really exist. We're just going to talk about DC now, but AC has different speeds as well. But DC, your slowest DC charger in the wild is about 50 kilowatts. So that means it can deliver about 50 kilowatts of power over a given hour's period. Then you get your next charger up, which is your 100 kilowatts, your 150 kilowatts, and you go to your big monsters, which are your 350 kilowatt chargers. They're the ones that, if your car can handle 350 kilowatts, will charge the car at 350 kilowatts. But there's another variable, which we'll get to about that in a moment. But let's just explain something really confusing between a lot of electric car owners. If your car plugs into a DC charger and your car can only handle 50 kilowatts and the charger is 350 kilowatts, your battery will not explode. It will not implode, it will not damage the battery, it will not cause any issue with the battery. It just means that the charger will only deliver what your car can handle and the charger will have 300 kilowatts of unused power. Now, if you can pick a slower charger where you stop, then pick a slower charger, because there's no point you using a faster power charger that another EV owner might need to use. But if you need to use a 350 kilowatt charger, then just plug your car in. So already in this video, we've seen how hard it is answering how fast does your electric car charge. But let's just pretend that you've asked a friend who has a 100 kilowatt hour battery, his car can charge at 350 kilowatts, and he is plugging into a 350 kilowatt charger. Easy to answer this question, surely. No, because we have two more factors that change the speed of how fast an electric car can charge. Now, as we all know, petrol cars and diesel cars perform differently in the hot and cold weather. Electric cars are very much the same, and this is down to the way their battery chemistry works. Now, batteries don't like being too hot and they don't like being too cold. Luckily for batteries, they have a system on it called a battery management system, and pretty much all modern EVs now have thermal cooling and heating to look after the battery temperature. Now, why am I telling you about how hot or cold it is and how hot or cold the battery may be? Well, if the battery's cold, the battery management system will throttle the speed that the charger will deliver. So even if you're on a 350 kilowatt car, even if the 350 kilowatt charger is working, if the battery's too cold, the charger will be limited to what the car can take because it's trying to protect itself from the battery being damaged. And very much the same on the opposite end. If the battery is too warm, the battery management system will throttle back the charge speed to protect the battery. Electric cars are not there to just charge as fast as they can if it's going to sacrifice the health of the battery. They look after all these very important things. It's why your mobile phone dies very easily, because it's getting very hot. A lot of people leave it underneath the bed. A lot of people get it too hot, and that is why batteries die. It's heat differences, cold and hot. So you try and keep it in the Goldilocks thing. Now, luckily, a lot of modern electric cars, if you put into the sat nav, I'm going to this rapid charger, this fast 350 kilowatt charger, it will preheat or pre-cool the battery for the most optimal charge speed when you get there. So the next question is, Nick, we've got a car which looks after the battery, it's preheated the battery ready for the charger, or I've been driving a long period of time and it's at an optimal temperature. It's a 350 kilowatt car, it's a 100 kilowatt battery, and it's a 350 kilowatt charger. Now, can you answer the question, how long does it take to charge? One more factor. And this final factor is something what we call SOC, which is state of charge. The state of the charge, that's basically how full or empty the battery is. Now, if the battery is empty, that is at the lowest end of the scale, below 10%, below 5%, very, very, very low state of charge, the battery will charge at its optimal speed. So it will charge as fast as it can handle based on all the other factors that we've mentioned before. So if the battery is warm, it's a 350 kilowatt charger, 100 kilowatt battery, 350 kilowatt capable car, it will charge at the full speed at the low percentage. However, at higher percentages, 95%, 90%, 85% charge, that charge rate could be significantly reduced depending on a number of factors of the way the EV is. Now, some EVs do something where they cap off the top end of the battery, so there's a lot more spare capacity there, so they can maintain a higher fast charge rate. But some EV owners would complain that they would like to use that extra capacity at the top and have the extra range rather than just the extra speed of when charging. So most manufacturers now are slimming down that proportion at the top so that you basically get a slower charge at the end. So why do you get a slower charge at the end? Well, it's something called the stadium theory. I like to use the stadium analogy because it's the easiest way of explaining it to anyone, which is, imagine a football stadium is your battery. And this stadium is empty at the moment, and there is 1 million people turning up and 1 million seats. The 1 million people have no seat numbers. They just need to get in and sit wherever they want as fast as possible. And obviously, the first 10,000 people can find a seat dead easily. There's 1 million seats available. They all sit down. And then everyone else starts piling in. As you can see, as you get towards the last 10,000 people of this million size stadium, the last 10,000 people are going to struggle to find seats, which means it takes them longer to find seats, which slows them down. And it's just the way your battery works. As it gets full, there's less available empty capacity for them to fit in, so it actually slows down the charging speed of the battery. It just can't handle those fast speeds because the electrons need to cram in a lot harder and a lot faster to a lot less available capacity. Now, the big question is, do EV owners worry about any of these factors or any of these things when they're charging? No, we just plug in. We kind of learn, you kind of work out what your car can do, or you really don't really worry about it that often at all, because the differences sometimes are only a difference of 5, maybe 10 minutes. But this is why we can never answer this question. Now, if you're wondering if now is the time to buy an electric vehicle, then check out this video here.